Hello, this is the Tropical Atlantic Marine Weather Briefing for this week starting on Sunday, March 26, 2023. My name is Evelyn Rivera, meteorologist for the National Hurricane Center. Let's begin by looking at today's weather analysis map for this morning at 12Z. Looking on the Gulf of Mexico, we have a stationary front along the coastline of Texas. There were reports of dense fog in the northwest Gulf of Mexico waters. This fog is expected to dissipate this afternoon. In the Western Atlantic, we have a high pressure prevailing, and then in the Central Atlantic, we have a deep low north of our area, but its associated front is moving south of 30 north. In this vicinity, we have seas expected between 12 and 17 feet through tonight. For Monday, March 27 at 12Z, we have a gale warning in the waters north of Colombia. Winds will reach 35 knots in the morning hours. These conditions will weaken in the early afternoon. Seas in that area will be 10 to 13 feet with the strongest winds. Then, in the Central Atlantic, the swell will continue propagating across the area with seas between 12 and 14 feet, and the front weakening and moving east. For Tuesday, March 28 at 12Z, the gale conditions are going to be expected across the waters north of Colombia, with seas 10 to 13 feet still, and the Central Atlantic seas will range between 8 and 10 feet as the high pressure prevails across the area and the fronts weaken. In 72 hours, Wednesday, March 29th, the gale conditions will continue across the waters north of Colombia, with seas ranging this time between 8 and 10 feet. These seas are also expected in the Central Atlantic as another front approaches the area from the north. For Thursday, March 30th at 12Z, we have a frontal boundary extending across the Western Atlantic with winds 15 to 20 knots just north and west of this boundary. In the Caribbean, winds 20 to 30 knots will prevail in the south central portion, and seas will prevail in the 8 to 10 feet range across the Central Atlantic and Caribbean. For Friday morning, as the front continues moving east across the Atlantic, the area of 15 to 20 knot winds will expand across the Western Atlantic. Then, in the South Central Caribbean, winds will range between 20 and 30 knots just in the vicinity of Colombia. Seas in that area in the Caribbean will be 10 to 12 feet, and 8 to 10 feet will prevail in the Atlantic near the front. To summarize the hazards for this forecast period, we have the gale warning expected in the waters within 90 nautical miles offshore of Colombia, with maximum winds of 35 knots and seas 12 to 13 feet with the strongest winds. Then the Atlantic, 10 to 17 feet combined seas event, which will be lasting through tonight, north of 30th, between 38 and 52 west, and then on Monday, 10 to 13 feet, mainly east of 35 west. Thanks for listening to the Tropical Atlantic Marine Weather Briefing. You can always get the latest graphics and information at www.hurricanes.gov/marine. Have a good evening.